Everybody, this is Jeff Veale, the business guru, coming to you late at night, 11:30. Imagine that, 11:30 at night, coming to you from downtown Manila. And I'm speaking to a lovely gentleman from the other side of the world. He's fortunate. It's morning time for him. His name is Stephen H. Whitehead, and EDD. I'll tell you what the EDD is later. Current role, independent executive consultant. And what he does, his company name is Fifth Hammer Innovation. And it's all about innovation, guys. Want to know more? Reach out, have a virtual cup of coffee. Cost you nothing, guys, to reach out, have a virtual cup of coffee and find out what he might be able to do for you and your company. You know, you don't know what you don't know is one of my favorite sayings. Anyway, going back to Stephen, is in the intersection of organizational design, applied creativity, and execution science. And he'll explain all that to you. It's a mouthful. Years in the industry, a mere 24, but only starting the second as Fifth Hammer Innovation. Brief description: a strategic consultancy that specializes in innovation activation. That's making shit happen. The high tension space where visionary ideas, the spark, meet operational reality, the Anvil. Key achievements or projects: working with the Association of Graduates at West Point, mapping out specific tension points where ideas die in the system. Identifying the intake gap so they could design a system for new ideas. Personal motto philosophy, we both agree with this one: comfort is the graveyard of innovation. So guys, don't get comfortable, guys. Don't get comfortable. Keep going. And there's more to come. Anyway, my great pleasure to welcome to the stage, Stephen. How are you, my friend?
Oh, great. Thanks for having me. This is fantastic. I appreciate you being up so late for me.
No trouble too much. My great pleasure. Stephen, tell us about your journey and what inspired you all those years ago to go down this career path. What happened?
Yeah, so my career path is a long and twisted tale. I actually joined the military between my junior and senior year of high school. So I served in the United States Army for 3 years. I came back. I've always done things with my hands. So I worked in manufacturing, and then I went and got a degree. That degree gave me the opportunity to work in print manufacturing. So I worked in print manufacturing, helping print companies come up with better ways of producing what they were producing, because I'm a super curious person. That led me to going back to college to get my master's. That opened the door for me to be a teacher. So I was actually a college professor for 11 years.
Wow.
And then after doing that, I was invited to be college leadership for 9 years. Wow. So I spent 20 years in higher education, and during that time, I kept leaning into this space for change and innovation, and I kept seeing all the systems and roadblocks that kept things from happening. Yeah, and that's what led me to sort of when I left college, I started with a consultancy where I traveled the country working with just higher education around change leadership and innovation and how do you build programs. And then after doing that for 3 years, I decided to create Fifth Hammer Innovation on my own, and really focus on very specific pieces of it. And that piece is, for innovation to be successful, the organization has to have creativity. And there's a great definition of creativity by Natalie Nixon. And it is, creativity is the ability to toggle between wonder and rigor and find novel ideals. Yeah. So what I've taken that and said, I view wonder as spark. How do we create spark in our organization to let people be curious and creative and give them space and time for that? Mm-hmm. And then for me, the rigor is the anvil. The anvil is the process. So when someone comes up with something new, do we have a process to feed it through our system? Or does it go onto a whiteboard where it sits for 30 days and then it's erased? And sadly, a lot of companies have things that go on the whiteboard and they just disappear.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, when you talk
that's got me.
One of my hobby horses is, I always ask people like yourself, why at school don't they teach finance and health? Yeah. You know, I don't want to know when the bloody Magna Carta was signed, or who shot William Tell in the eye with an arrow, all this bullshit. I don't want to know that, right? Or the Battle of Hastings. I mean, I'm not going to go on a quiz show. I want to know how to stay healthy and how to make money. Give me a money box when I'm a small kid and put me on the right track. Yeah. All that.
One of the biggest problems I have with education is, if you look at what the World Economic Forum says, and Forbes and these major companies, they say one of the biggest things they need out of employees is creativity. Yeah. Schools do not teach creativity. Schools teach structure. They teach this, that they teach you. This is the answer. It's a shame. All these little kids are born with nothing but curiosity and creativity. Yeah. Spend any time with any kid before they get to school, they are the super curious, ask 1,000 questions. Yeah. And then as they go through the process, that creativity gets curbed. And then they get into a company and the company says, we want you to be curious, and they don't know how to be curious.
Yeah. I laugh because I left school at 14. All they tried to teach me was don't smile and sit up straight. I don't sit up straight and I still keep smiling. So
I stuttered. I actually, when I was a small child, I stuttered, and the educational system told my parents like they should put me into a special school. I was never going to be successful, and it is what I find is really funny is, because I stuttered, I couldn't ask questions. So it forced me to be curious in the classroom. It forced me to learn on my own.
Yeah.
Those skills are what have set me up to be who I am. And I mean, there's 3 letters at the end of my name show that I have a doctorate. So I've been to the top of the educational summit. Yeah. When in 3rd grade, my parents were told to put me into a private school where they'd have to figure out what I can do with my life.
At 14, they told my parents, don't bring him back. I was like, Fonzie. Yeah. I was quite distracted. And my parents sat me down for the big talk. If you don't like it, get out. And I said, oh, good. Give me 15 minutes. So I left home and school at 14. Best thing I ever did.
Wow.
Crazy. I didn't become a robot. I became like Fonzie in Happy Days. I ran my own life.
Nice.
Tell me, what's been the most challenging aspect of your work over the years, and how have you overcome that?
So the most challenging is getting people to understand what I actually do. So like I always talk about creativity, and people don't see how that fits into the normal workflow. Well, so that's why I've really, the way I'm addressing it now is I've created a Spark Anvil audit. So these 7 questions you can take, and that'll show where your team is, where your organization is. Like, are you leaning heavily in where you're really creative, but then you have all these great things that never come out because you don't have any process to make them successful? Or do you have so many processes, there's no space for the spark? So what has really been my piece and the struggle I've had is getting to where we have conversations with leaders where they understand, like, this is a process. Like, creativity is not just something you're born with. Oh, Steve's super creative, we'll just hire him. No. Everybody's creative. Yeah. And you can learn how to be creative, and I can teach you structures to build your companies to open up the space to invite that creativity into your meetings, into your conversations, and things like that.
I agree. Tell us an important moment in your career that changed your direction. When and where did you decide to pivot? What happened?
So after spending 20 years in higher education and seeing that it's a system that truly believes, at least in the United States, it's a system that believes it's too big to fail. Yeah. I was like, look, I'm a first generation student. My dad was a truck driver. My mother was a stay-home mother. My life changed through education. I think education is extremely impactful for people who get it. Yep. But the system is broken. And I was like, you know what? I've spent 20 years of my life trying to get people to see that we can change and be really successful. Yeah. And all I've done is left my mark on the wall. So it's time to, like, for my own sanity, it's time to step out and help the people who want the help.
Fair enough. Tell me, what do you believe, Stephen, are your key qualities and skills that have helped you be so successful?
So the top skill that makes me most successful is curiosity. I am super curious. I may not be an expert in your industry, but I will read up and study and do everything I can to bring a novice expert opinion to the table. Which will push you to, 1, I'll ask questions, so you'll have to educate me. Yeah. And 2, I'll bring a perspective that you may not have heard, which will make you re-examine how you're approaching it. So to me, at the end of the day, being curious trumps everything.
Yeah, I've been to these millionaires think tanks. You pay about $1,000 and 10 years get in a room, right? And I'm asking these questions, and the guy, the host, says to me, Jeff, shut up, stop asking questions, give someone else a go. And I said, I'll tell you what you do at halftime, give me my money back, because if no one here else wants to ask a question, I'm here to learn. I paid $1,000 to learn. Yeah. And I want to keep asking questions unless someone else has got a question. And you should realize the questions I'm asking are educating the whole room.
Yes. So education is a relationship process. Correct. And that's what drives me crazy. Like, you learn through the relationship. It's the relationship with the content of the actual material. But the people in the room, like, sometimes when a student's struggling to learn something, the best thing you can do is have a student who gets it, teach it to them. Yeah, because they show it in a different perspective. And that's how I feel. Like, there are sometimes when I talk to somebody where, like, I'm talking with an engineer who's talking with the engineering language and this and that, and I don't quite get it. Yeah. But if I bring a technician in and I'm like, all right, like, how does this break down for you? Boom, light bulbs go off. Now I get it. Now I can sort of move the process along.
That's the one. Tell me, Stephen, how do you stay motivated as you do and continue to innovate in your field? What's the secret there?
So to me, like, I think I love artificial intelligence. I love everything that's going on with it. To me, the one thing that we give that humans bring is this curiosity and creativity that AI just doesn't have. It does have creativity, but it's sort of like a puzzle. So what excites me and what brings me into it is I love learning something new every day. I love meeting with companies that I've never met with, sort of hearing their challenges, going back to what I call my mad lab, and sort of like building how do I get this a solution? So everything I do is designed around human-centered design thinking. And for that process, there's three main pieces: looking, understanding, and making. So the first thing is I want to hear what you say your problem is. And then I want to build a team where we can really look and see if that's the problem, because I've worked with plenty of companies who have spent a ton of money to solve a problem that wasn't the problem. Right. Once we identify this is the problem through the looking, then we're going to take a deep dive in understanding why that problem's the problem. And then we come up with solutions. Unfortunately, in this day and age, we rush to get to solutions. We just, I know how to fix this because I've done this before. And like we rush to solutions without taking time to fall in love with the problem. And you have to fall in love with the problem.
That's right. I used to always say, by the way, every problem has got, I used to joke myself as a business leader, I'd say every problem has got 10 solutions. So write them down and then work out which one's number one. Put that at the top.
Yes.
And then that doesn't work. Go to number 2, number 3, and work your way through it until you come up with an answer, because you will come up with an answer. It's right in front of you. Right?
And don't get so caught up in the sunk cost. There are so many people who are like, I thought this was the problem and I invested all this money, so I have to ride this all the way out. No, you don't. The money's already spent. You can stop and make the adjustment. Like staying with something that you know isn't going to work doesn't make you a good leader, or doesn't it doesn't make you fiscally sound.
Yeah, you got to be. Funny enough, many moons ago, I'm an old man. I used to run the floating disco, right? And
really?
Successfully on Sydney Harbour. I made a lot of money. I made $2,000 a week when wages were $100 a week, right?
Wow.
So I was killing it. I was a kid and I was killing it. Anyway, I did that for 3 years, and all of a sudden, I kid you not, my next week cruise coming up, I normally used to book 200 plus on my cruise. My next week, I don't know how it happened, like a switch overnight, honest to God. My next cruise coming up in a week's time, I had about 30 people, and I went, what the hell's wrong? Something's wrong. And I spoke to my team, and they all said, Jeff, disco's dead. It's all about rock and roll. I went, really? So I threw all the flyers away, and I started promoting rock and roll. I filled up in a day.
Yep. Yeah. But there are so many people who don't look at that. There are so many people who are like, oh no, this is what I do. Yeah. And like in this day and age, you have to change with everything. Like change is the one consistent. Everybody hates it, but change is the one consistent. Absolutely. And if you're not paying attention and monitoring everything, and these companies who, like, I've worked with companies who have said like, oh, it's okay, we're just trying to stay at this level.
Right.
If like there's no staying at this level. If you're staying at this level, your competitors are passing you, and others are coming up. So like you're gonna your level is gonna drop because others are gonna move in front of you.
That's right.
But people have this perception that they can just we'll just stay the way we are. Good luck with that.
As I'm concerned, there's only 2 levels. You're either growing or dying. I
have said that. I've said that since I started in the printing industry. I've said, look, either we're growing or we're dying. You might be growing, you might be dying slowly, you might be growing slowly, but you're going one way or the other.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you got to do. You got to. What I've done all my life, because it's everything seasonal in our business. I used to say, I want to beat last January. That's my target. Beat last January. Don't beat me. Beat last January. Now beat last February, beat last March. And being very seasonal, for me, October, November, December are my gun months. They're the real boomers, right? But the other months, I've got to hang in there. I've got to cover the overheads, right? So, Yeah,
and mine's flipped. October, November, December are my slow months.
Yeah.
So I have to make hay in the other months.
Yeah, so I'm very, very target orientated. I know my stuff weekly, guys, not yearly or monthly. You got to know it weekly. It's like a boat. If you're off course, you can get all the way off course in a month. So get back on course. Know your numbers weekly. Yep. You say, well, of course, get back on course quick. Right.
Yeah. And if
you're right.
No, go ahead.
Tell me about a recent project or achievement you're particularly proud of, Stephen.
So to me, it's that West Point. I've been fortunate enough to work with West Point twice. I worked with their Association of Graduates, and West Point has a new strategic plan, and the new strategic plan calls for them to be more basically student-centered, cadet-centered, more human-centered design. And they were looking at this, and they were saying, like, how do we get younger graduates to engage? Mm-hmm. And we had the whole team take the Spark Anvil audit, and what we realized was the team has some space to be creative, but they really don't have any process for it after it happens. So we identified that as the intake gap. And we said, all right, so if this is the intake gap, let's build the first structure. Yes. So like one, you have a way to pull these proposals in and sort of like do almost like a startup pitch. All right, this is the one we're going to do. Yeah. And then put resources behind it and then take it through that process. And this is where I employ smart experimentation. You don't have to deploy it as a full scale effect. You can do a small bite size, and if it's successful, then grow with it. And if it's not, then kill it and make a change or move, like whatever you need to do. Yeah. But so like getting them to sort of embrace that was powerful for me, because this is a traditional organization that's been around for so long. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like they are very structured. So like to get them to sort of lean into this is how we can sort of try creativity was just fantastic. Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious, are they with this day and age with kids wanting to do different things, are they growing? Are they having are they having trouble recruiting, or are they going okay?
Well, I'm sure they have I'm sure like every college they have trouble recruiting, but because of there's such a prestige to it, they get the same, and they pull in the same number, but like they've never had to grow their incoming class, so they've always kept the same numbers coming in, so it's a little easier 300 to maintain.
700 apply and only 300 make it, that type of thing.
Yeah. You know, so like they always have that maximum intake.
Yeah, they got the big bucket full.
Yeah.
Tell me, what advice, speaking of young people, a 20-year-old comes to you, might be your son, your nephew, niece, and they say, I've just left school, Steve. What should I be doing with myself? What advice would you give them?
Well, so one, I'm a big believer in being a lifelong learner. So whatever you have a passion for, keep learning about it. Whatever your job is. Yeah. What I tell my sons is I say, hey, you always have to be scanning the horizon, because we live in such a great technology world. Yeah. You have to see what technology is coming on the edge. So what's out there that might happen that will impact the industry I'm in, and how will it impact him? And then either say, all right, I want to be somebody who helps them figure out how to use this. Yeah. So I want to be that person, or you know what, that's going to go a direction I don't want to go. Yeah. What's the next thing I can do? And like, that's where like always be willing to embrace change, but be the person who drives it yourself. Don't be somewhere where you're doing something and all of a sudden the technology comes that wipes it out. Yeah. And then you have to find a home. Like, so like be very aware of what's going on around you. Just because you put time in to get the degree, or just because you've got the certificate or whatever you have, doesn't mean you're going to be able to do. This isn't 1920. You can't do that job for 40 years and retire with a pension. No, those days are gone.
Yeah, I laugh because I say this is one of my pet things I tell people too. 400 young kids do an engineering degree, right? And then they go, aha, and they throw their hat up in the air, they made it. Then they go home, they have a holiday for a week, they come back to go get a job, and they realise in the town they're in, there's only 10 jobs. 400 of them graduated, there's 10 jobs. 390 of them end up down flipping burgers at Wendy's and McDonald's, right?
Well, that's it. And like, it's understanding you might have a degree in engineering, but it gives you the ability to do other things. Just
Correct.
Because your degree says this, like, so my bachelor's degree is in graphic communication technology. That's printing. Yeah. Like, I could still do that, but there's not a great deal of print growth right now. No. But that gave me the ability to understand
and think
production processes. So like I could work at any production company and just have to understand like what they're making and how they make it. And then I could, so like people need to understand, I have a degree, but that degree, it doesn't tie me into just this. It actually opens the world up, but I have to be the one who can express to like a boss, hey, how I can use that skill somewhere else.
Yeah, pivot. And I tell people also, reach out to people like Steve or myself, get a mentor, and you can, if you're young people, you can shave 10, 20 years off the journey. We've made a lot of the mistakes. You'll still make mistakes. We all do. I still make them. However, get a mentor in the field you want to be in, and you'll shave a lot of time off the journey. You can learn a lot from them, right? Tell me, Steve, looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future? You're only at base camp now. You've got a long way to go.
So I really want to keep building these case studies where I work with companies and do really cool things. I want to work with companies beyond higher ed and corporations and sort of keep building what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, I have this hypothesis that, hey, I think if we go through this process and really help you figure out Spark and Anvil, it's going to make you successful. So everybody I work with is testing that hypothesis. And I know there will come a point where I have to change that hypothesis. So I'm just excited about those opportunities, and just to continue to keep growing and learning from all the people I work with.
Nice. Anyway, guys, this is like 15 minutes of fame. It's like, as you can see, it's like talking to a friend. And we'd like you to come and get your 15 minutes of fame. Don't forget to like and subscribe to his channel. You're going to see lots of interesting people like Steve. And what I want to point out to you guys is $20,000 for a TV commercial. And what happens? It comes on, people jump up, grab a beer, grab a hot dog, or go to the toilet. They miss the whole darn thing. You think you're going to do 10 radio spots. That's a good idea, except one thing. They invariably play them at 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning when people are asleep. Right? Come on, 15 minutes of fame. It's all about you. We turn the whole thing into a mini movie all about you. And then what we do with it, we put it on Reddit, Quora, LinkedIn, Facebook group, YouTube, and of course our new platform, School, with all your social media links, potentially putting in front of hundreds of prospects. And of course, if you're smart, at your end, you do exactly the same. It's evergreen. It's all about you. Blow your trumpet, put it out there, and don't be shy, all right? Tommy, we're going to wrap it up now, but before we do that, tell us a fun fact about yourself, Steve, that most people do not know.
A fun fact about me is I've taught myself how to play the harmonica. So I'm somebody who was never musically talented, and I just decided one day that I wanted to learn how to play the harmonica. So I've been practicing for a couple of years, and it's one of those things that I like to do it on my own with friends and family. Yeah.
Coming back to deliverance days. Tell me, what's the difference between a harmonica and what's the other one called? Oh, God, it escapes me. I knew it a second ago. Harmonica and a mouth organ. What's the difference? So
it's the number of keys that are on it. So I have a smaller harmonica that I travel with, and it's funny. Every now and then when I go through the airport security, I'll get pulled because I have this metal harmonica because it looks like fins and people get confused. But I have a bigger one, and my sons call it the hoagie, and it has a button like I can switch to change key and all that. It is, for me, the harmonica, because I spent so much time trying to figure out how to play it, is much easier. The hoagie, or the bigger one, the mouth organ, I struggle with because it's so big. Mm-hmm. Like it's a lot more movement, and it's like, for some reason I have a harder time doing it. But I'm working to get better with it.
You bring back a lot of memories, because I have not seen or as far as I know, heard a mouth organ or a harmonica for a long time. So you're old school.
I am. Well, like, to me, like, that's how we stay curious in creativity. So I always pick like something I want to learn. So like now I'm learning the harmonica, and then this year I'd like to learn how to play a couple songs on the piano. I don't want to know how to read music, but I'd like to have 3 or 4 songs I could just sit down and play and just go from there.
Good party trick, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You've been an awesome guest. Any last words for us, Steve, before we wrap it up?
Oh, no, just if anybody would like to connect with me, you can find me at my website is fifthhammerinnovation.com. It's on the bottom of my screen there.
There you go,
I'd love to help you if you're navigating change or just want to explore a different path. I'd love to talk to you about creativity and clarity and how I can help you achieve that.
Well, there you go. Guys, you get a chance to talk to an expert for free. A lot of guys charge $400 and $500 for a consultation, right? You can talk to this man for 15 minutes for free with my invite. Free. Just mention me. Speak to him for free and have a chat and see if you resonate with each other. And one of my other old favourite sayings is, you don't know what you don't know. So if you want to know, reach out, have a chat to Steve, or if you want to do marketing, have a chat to me. We're both good at our craft. So reach out, guys. There's the invitation for you. Thanks very much for being on the show, Steve. You've been awesome.